"You're making the biggest mistake of your life," Marcus Kellner shouted, his face purple with rage as I placed my resignation letter on his mahogany desk. "No one will hire you. I'll make sure of it. You're nothing without this company. Nothing." I cleaned out my desk in silence, took one last look at the office I'd called home for 11 years, and walked out without a word. But why, 6 months later, was Marcus Kellner sitting across from me in my new corner office, his $1,000 suit wrinkled and his eyes desperate, saying the words I never expected to hear. "Please. Your firm has all our former clients. I'm begging you for a partnership." I leaned back in my chair and let the silence stretch. "I'm sorry, Marcus. Could you repeat that? I don't think I heard you correctly." "You heard me." His jaw clenched. "Sterling Marketing has lost 70% of our revenue since you left. Our biggest accounts, Horizon Tech, Meridian Hotels, the Baxter Group, they all followed you. We're bleeding out. That's unfortunate." "Unfortunate?" His voice cracked. "I'm offering you a partnership. Equity. Decision-making power. Everything you wanted when you were here." I let his words hang in the air, remembering every meeting where my ideas had been stolen, every promotion that had gone to someone less qualified, every time he'd told me I should be grateful for what I had. "The thing is, Marcus, I already have everything I wanted. The corner office. The equity. The decision-making power." I smiled. "The only difference is I don't have you." I'd spent 11 years at Sterling Marketing being the engine nobody acknowledged. I started as a junior account manager, fresh out of business school with $80,000 in debt and a desperate need to prove myself. Within 2 years, I'd landed our first major client, a regional hotel chain that would eventually grow into Meridian Hotels. Within 5, I was managing our entire technology sector portfolio. Within 8, I was bringing in 40% of the company's revenue. Marcus Kellner took credit for all of it. Every pitch I developed, he presented as his own. Every strategy one created, he claimed he'd refined. Every client relationship I built, he swooped in at the last minute to shake hands and accept praise while I stood in the background like a supporting character in my own story. "That's just how it works, Vivian," my colleague Janet told me once. "The partners get the glory. We get the paychecks." But the paychecks weren't equal either. I discovered, through an accidental glimpse at a spreadsheet I wasn't supposed to see, that men at my level were earning 30% more than I was. When I raised the issue with HR, I was told my compensation was competitive for my experience level. My experience level included landing accounts worth $50 million annually. I asked for a promotion to senior vice president, a position I'd earned 3 times over. Marcus laughed. "You're not ready," he said. "You need more time, more seasoning." The man he promoted instead had been at the company for 4 years and had never landed a single major account. But he played golf with Marcus on Saturdays and laughed at his jokes at company parties. I started planning my exit that same afternoon. The plan took 18 months to execute. I couldn't just leave. That would have been satisfying but strategically foolish. I needed to build something first. A foundation. A network. A future that didn't depend on Marcus Kellner's approval. I started by strengthening my client relationships. Not the company's relationships, mine. I made sure every major account knew my name, my direct line, my personal email. I took clients to dinners that I paid for myself, remembered their children's names, sent holiday cards signed only by me. "You're the reason we stay with Sterling," the CEO of Horizon Tech told me once. "Without you, we'd have left years ago." I filed that information away for later. Next, I started building a team. Not officially, Marcus would have shut that down immediately. But I identified the talented people at Sterling who were as undervalued as I was, nurtured their careers, and earned their loyalty. Janet, the strategist who'd been passed over for promotion 6 times. Derek, the creative director whose ideas Marcus routinely stole. Simone, the data analyst who'd transformed our targeting capabilities and received nothing but grief about her unconventional methods. I made sure they knew I saw them, that I valued them, that when the time came, there would be a place for them somewhere better. Finally, I consulted lawyers. Quietly, carefully, making sure I understood exactly what I could and couldn't do. My employment contract had a non-compete clause, but it was narrowly written. It prohibited me from working for a direct competitor for 12 months, but it didn't prevent me from starting my own firm or from accepting clients who chose to leave Sterling voluntarily. The day I resigned, I had a business plan, a team ready to follow me, and a list of clients who had already indicated interest in making a change. I also had Marcus Kellner screaming that I was nothing. Vivian Drake and Associates opened its doors 3 weeks later. I'd rented a small office space in the Arts District, a far cry from Sterling's gleaming downtown tower, but affordable and full of character. Janet, Derek, and Simone had all given notice within days of my departure. 4 other Sterling employees followed within the month. Marcus, predictably, threatened to sue. "You're poaching my staff," he shouted in a phone call I'd recorded for legal purposes. "You're stealing my clients. Your staff chose to leave. Your clients chose to follow. I haven't violated any contract terms, and if you examine your non-compete clause carefully, you'll find it doesn't apply to this situation. I'll destroy you. I have connections. So do I, 11 years of them. The difference is mine actually like me." I hung up and got back to work. The first month was chaos. We were understaffed, underfunded, and operating out of an office that still smelled like the yoga studio that had previously occupied the space. I worked 18-hour days, slept on the couch in my office, and wondered more than once if I'd made a terrible mistake. Then Horizon Tech called. "We've decided to move our account," their CEO said. "To you. Effective immediately. That's a $15 million annual contract." "I know. You've earned it." Meridian Hotels followed a week later. Then the Baxter Group. Then 3 more accounts I hadn't even approached. Clients who'd heard about my new firm and reached out on their own. By month 3, Vivian Drake and Associates had $50 million in contracted revenue. By month 6, we'd outgrown our yoga studio office and moved into a proper space downtown. By month 8, we'd hired 20 additional employees. And by month 9, Marcus Kellner came crawling. He'd requested the meeting through intermediaries. Too proud to call me directly, but desperate enough to swallow some of his ego. I made him wait 3 weeks. When he finally arrived at my office, he looked like a man who hadn't slept in months. His suit was expensive but disheveled. His hair had grayed visibly since I'd last seen him. The arrogance that had defined him for the 11 years I'd worked under him had eroded into something smaller, meaner, more afraid. "Vivian." He didn't offer his hand. "Nice office." "Thank you. It took some work, but nothing is impossible when you're nothing, right?" He flinched. "Good. I deserve that. You deserve considerably more than that, but I'm a professional." He sat across from me, the same position countless clients had occupied while we discussed their business needs. The reversal was exquisite. "Sterling is in trouble," he admitted. "Serious trouble. We've lost most of our major accounts. Staff are leaving. The partners are talking about selling or shutting down. I'm aware. I'm here to propose a merger. Or a partnership. Or whatever you want to call it." He spread his hands. "You've won, Vivian. I'm acknowledging that. Now let's figure out how to move forward." I studied him. This man who had stolen credit for my work, denied me promotions I'd earned, told me I was nothing without his company. "Why would I want to partner with you, Marcus? What do you bring to the table?" "Experience. Connections. A established brand. Your brand is toxic. Everyone in the industry knows why your company is failing. They know about the wage discrimination. They know about the credit stealing. They know about the golf buddy promotions." I leaned forward. 3 of your former employees have filed lawsuits since I left. Did you know that?" He went pale. "The connections you're offering? They're the same connections that couldn't save your company when clients started leaving. And your experience?" I smiled coldly. "Your experience is primarily in taking credit for other people's work. That's not valuable to me. Then what do you want? To watch me fail? I don't want anything from you, Marcus. That's what you never understood. I didn't leave to hurt you. I left because I deserved better. The fact that you're failing is a consequence of your own behavior, not my revenge." He sat in silence for a long moment. "I was wrong about you," he finally said. "I underestimated you. Yes, I should have promoted you. I should have paid you fairly. I should have." He stopped, unable to finish. "You should have treated me like a human being instead of a resource to exploit. But you didn't. And now you're living with the consequences. Is there anything I can do? Anything that would make this right?" I considered the question. There were things he could do: apologize publicly, settle the lawsuits, change his behavior. But none of those things would give me back 11 years of my career. None of them would restore the promotions I'd missed, the credit I'd deserved, the respect I'd earned and never received. "You can leave," I said. "And you can learn from this. Treat your remaining employees better. Actually value the people who do the work. Maybe Sterling can survive if you fundamentally change how you operate. And the clients? Is there any way? The clients made their choice. They chose me because I earned their trust. That's not something you can negotiate. Marcus stood slowly, looking older than his 55 years. I really did think you were nothing without the company, he said quietly. I was so sure. I know. That's what made it so easy to leave. He walked out without another word. Vivian Drake and Associates celebrated its one-year anniversary last month. We've grown to 45 employees, with offices in 2 cities and plans to expand further. Our client roster includes some of the most respected names in technology, hospitality, and consumer goods. Industry publications have called us the most exciting new agency of the decade. Janet is now my chief strategy officer. Derek runs our creative division. Simone oversees data and analytics. The team that Sterling undervalued has become the engine of something remarkable. Marcus sold Sterling Marketing 3 months after our meeting. The acquiring company gutted most of the staff and absorbed the remaining clients into their existing operations. The name survives, but the company that told me I was nothing no longer exists. I think about his words sometimes. You're nothing without this company. He was right, in a way I don't think he understood. I was nothing without that company, nothing to him. Invisible, exploitable, a resource to be used and discarded. But being nothing to someone who doesn't value you isn't a weakness. It's freedom. It's permission to build something of your own, for people who actually see you, without owing anything to those who couldn't be bothered to look. I wasn't nothing. I was just standing next to someone who couldn't recognize value when it was right in front of him. Now that someone is gone, and I'm still here. Still building. Still growing. Still proving, every single day, that I was always something. He just refused to see it. He said I was nothing because he needed me to believe it. He stole my ideas because he didn't have any of his own. He denied my promotions because my success threatened his narrative. But here's what he didn't understand. You can't keep someone down forever when they know their own worth. I knew mine. I always knew. I just needed to find a place where everyone else could see it too. Now they do. And he's the one sitting in the ruins of his own making, wondering where it all went wrong. The answer is simple. It went wrong the day he underestimated me.